Stories have the power to transport us to new worlds, spark our imagination, and teach us valuable lessons. But did you know they can also help you master spoken English? In this video, we'll dive into a wonderful story that not only entertains, but also helps you improve your vocabulary, pronunciation, and fluency. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey as we learn English through the magic of storytelling. Today's story is based on a Hollywood movie named The Vow 2012. So, without further ado, let's improve our English with this incredible movie. The story begins on a quiet winter evening in Chicago, where snow blankets the city streets and frost laces the windows of homes and shops. Paige and Leo, a young married couple deeply in love, are driving home after a romantic evening. Their laughter fills the car as they talk about their plans for the future, from Paige's latest art project to Leo's growing recording studio business. Theirs is a life built on shared dreams and unwavering affection, the kind of love that feels rare and precious. As they drive through the serene streets, Paige leans over to kiss Leo. Her hands rest lightly on his arm, her eyes full of warmth. It's a moment so ordinary, yet so meaningful, one of those small gestures that define the rhythm of their relationship. But in an instant, their world is shattered. A truck runs a stop sign and barrels into their car, the deafening sound of metal crunching against metal echoing in the still night. Paige is thrown forward, crashing through the windshield, her body flung like a rag doll into the icy air. Time seems to slow as Leo, stunned and helpless, calls out her name, his voice cracking with fear. When Paige opens her eyes, the world feels foreign and fragmented. She's in a hospital room, her body covered in bruises and her head wrapped in bandages. Machines beep steadily around her, monitoring her vitals. Beside her sits Leo, his hands clutching hers tightly, his eyes red-rimmed from hours of waiting and worrying. "Paige," he whispers, his voice trembling with relief. But instead of responding with the love and recognition he expects, she looks at him with confusion. "Who are you?" she asks, her voice weak but certain. Leo's heart breaks as those 3 words sink in. The doctors explain that Paige has suffered severe memory loss due to the traumatic brain injury she sustained in the accident. She doesn't remember the last 5 years of her life, a period that includes her entire relationship with Leo. To her, he is a stranger, and her life as she knows it has been erased. The Paige, lying in the hospital bed, believes she is still a law student, engaged to her ex-fiancé, Jeremy, and living under the protective wing of her wealthy parents. The life she built with Leo, the love they shared, and the vows they made are gone. Determined to help Paige recover her memories, Leo takes her home to their apartment. The space is a reflection of their shared life, a cozy, creative sanctuary filled with Paige's sculptures, Polaroid photos of their adventures, and little mementos from their time together. Leo points out their favorite spots, the couch where they spent lazy Sundays watching movies, the kitchen where they experimented with new recipes, and the small balcony where they shared countless cups of coffee. He tells her stories about their life, weaving together moments of joy and love in the hope that something will spark her memory. But Paige feels like an outsider in her own home. The life Leo describes doesn't resonate with her, and the person he remembers seems like a stranger. She looks at the photos on the wall, the smiles frozen in time, and wonders why she can't feel the connection that seems so obvious to him. Her frustration grows as she struggles to reconcile her present self with the version of her that Leo loves so deeply. Things become even more complicated when Paige's parents, Bill and Rita, enter the picture. They haven't been part of her life for years, but now they see an opportunity to bring her back into their fold. Paige doesn't remember why she distanced herself from them, and their presence feels comforting in a way. Her parents suggest that she return to their luxurious home, where she can be surrounded by familiarity and stability. Leo protests, pleading with Paige to stay and work through this together, but she feels overwhelmed and unsure. Torn between the life she can't remember and the one she feels drawn to, Paige decides to leave with her parents. At her parents' estate, Paige is reintroduced to the life she left behind. She reconnects with old friends from law school and spends time with Jeremy, her ex-fiancé. Jeremy is everything her parents want for her: successful, charming, and dependable. He is thrilled to see Paige again, viewing her memory loss as a second chance for them to be together. Paige finds comfort in the familiarity of this world, but something feels off. The more time she spends with Jeremy, the more she realizes that their relationship, while stable, lacks the spark and depth she craves. Meanwhile, Leo is struggling. He feels like he's losing Paige all over again and can't shake the sense of helplessness that has settled over him. Desperate to remind her of their love, he takes her to places that hold significance for them. The cafe where they had their first date, the park where he proposed, and the gallery where she once showcased her artwork. He shows her their wedding photos and shares the story of their vows, hoping that the power of their love will break through the fog of her memory. But no matter what he does, Paige remains distant, her heart and mind caught between two worlds. As Paige spends more time with her parents, she begins to see cracks in the perfect image they present. One evening, she overhears an argument between her mother and father and learns that her father had an affair with one of her friends, a betrayal that deeply hurt her in the past. This revelation leaves her feeling confused and betrayed. She begins to question the choices she made and wonders why she forgave her parents or chose to distance herself from them. The perfect world they've created for her starts to feel hollow. Feeling lost, Paige decides to visit her old art studio, a small, cluttered space filled with sculptures, tools, and memories. As she walks through the studio, she feels a sense of connection she can't explain. She runs her hands over the clay and metal, remembering the joy of creating something with her own hands. While she doesn't recall specific moments, the act of working with her materials brings her a sense of peace and clarity. For the first time since the accident, Paige feels like she's rediscovering a part of herself. One night, after much reflection, Paige decides to leave her parents' home. She tells them she needs to figure things out on her own and moves back into the apartment she shared with Leo. It's not an easy decision, and she's honest with Leo about her feelings. "I don't remember us," she says, her voice heavy with emotion, "but I want to try." Leo, overwhelmed with relief, promises to support her every step of the way. Together, Paige and Leo start to rebuild their relationship. They go on dates, share stories, and create new memories. Slowly, Paige begins to see why she fell in love with Leo. She admires his kindness, his sense of humor, and his unwavering devotion to her. One day, while going through some old belongings, she finds a notebook filled with sketches and notes. Among the pages, she discovers a copy of the wedding vow she wrote for Leo. In it, she promised to love him unconditionally through every challenge they might face. Reading those words brings tears to her eyes. Even though she doesn't remember writing them, she feels their truth in her heart. In the end, Paige never regains her lost memories, but she and Leo decide to move forward together. They accept that their love will never be the same as it was before, but that doesn't mean it can't be just as strong. They start fresh, building a new life filled with love, trust, and hope. Paige continues to pursue her art, finding inspiration in her work, while Leo supports her every step of the way. Their journey is not easy, but it is worth it. Together, they prove that love is not just about the past, it's about the future they choose to create. And this brings us to the end of the video. If you have learned anything from this video, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching and supporting.